Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of the Loud Nerds podcast. I'm one of your hosts today, and with me, I have the Portuguese Chuck Norris with short hair, Joaquim. How are you, my
Hello,
friend?
hello everyone. I'm very good, thank you. Excited for this very special episode to discuss
Yeah,
with you.
today we have a special episode, like Joaquim was saying. We will have a Last of Us spoilercast, and since the four of us didn't play the game. Only Joaquin had played, and me, I have watched from beginning until the end. Okay, we decided to make this special episode today. So let's start with our honest opinion without spoiling much about the game, Joaquin.
hmm
Uh, what do you thought about The Last of Us Part 2?
I I love the game. From beginning to end. There were some parts I felt a bit uneasy, to be honest. But at the end, once it all came together and I played through and I finished it, it all everything made sense to me, and I the more I thought about it, the more I started liking it. And um, what can I say more about without any spoilers?
It's
I
your game of the
really
year so far?
so far. I mean, I'm still playing Ghost,
Okay.
and I'm really liking it so far. But without having Ghost in mind, yes, definitely. Although I don't see anything that might have come this year. I
Final
mean, there was
Fantasy
Doom
7.
and Final Fantasy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then yeah, definitely Game of the Year so far.
And just one thing that I would like to ask you. Do you
hmm
prefer Last of Us 1 or 2?
I can say for sure. I think we'll get into it a bit later, but I think Last of Us Part One, at least these are my thoughts for now. Last of Us Part One have moments that are very special and cannot be surpassed right now for me. But as a whole experience, I think Part Two is even better.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think. Yeah.
for my honest opinion,
hmm
I think the game is good. I think it's the game that I've seen with better graphics so far.
hmm
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I think that voice acting, music, ambience, all of that, it's one of the best games by far. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it has pacing issues. I think it's too long, in my
hmm
opinion,
hmm Yeah.
and um, and I didn't like the end. So
Okay.
with that in mind, I think definitely I liked more Last of Us One. That's for sure my favorite one, and
hmm
I think Last of Us Two, in terms of video game rating, I would say it is an 8, maybe and a 9, but that's stretching, putting the graphics and all on top of the story. I think the story is good, but I
hmm
think it's arranged in the wrong way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So for now, we are going to spoil everything about the game. So if you don't want spoilers, go back, finish the game, and then listen to our opinion. And if you already finished the game, sit back, relax, grab a coffee, grab a beer, because we'll be discussing a lot about this game.
Oh yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. I think it would be good to know um, what what was our thoughts about the end of Last of Us One, because I
hmm
think that will put in perspective what is our opinion coming to this game. Okay, so Joaquin, what you thought about Joel? Uh, so choosing to save Ellie and not having the cure.
Um, I, for one, I kind of agreed with him. Not in a sense of it being the right choice for everyone. Of course, it was a selfish choice. That's there's no denying that. But I was on board with it. I didn't hold it against him, as I also did not want Ellie to die. So I was on board. I was on board with him the whole way through. I was a bit on edge when I saw him kill Marlene at the end,
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't, and she didn't deserve it, along with the other Fireflies. But oh well. Um, so I think that was the only point that I thought, okay, Joel, maybe we went a bit too far, but overall, I was on board with it. I definitely, yeah. What about you?
Well, I think, in my opinion, that was the wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think the right decision should be Joel should have asked Ellie before doing that. So basically, he
That's true.
should abort the
Yeah.
operation and come
Mm-hmm.
clean, and then it should be Ellie's decision. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
I think he didn't thought about it. He just went guns blazing and all of that when he knew
To
what would happen.
to be honest, they didn't give him much of a choice. They wouldn't let him see her, and the Fireflies themselves didn't even let her know that she had to give her life for
Yeah,
this. So it was kind of a bad move on both sides.
yeah.
Although on the Fireflies, there they might have been, I can understand their side, because they might have been afraid that she would say no, and then humanity will be there will be definitely no cure for that.
Mhm.
So I can see their side as well,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely
I, I,
not the
I
right
can
choice.
see both points for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And depending on how I wake up on that day, I could agree with Joel or I could disagree with Joel.
Yeah.
Depends on how far I think humanity has hope on that day. So if I think that if I had a good day and I think humanity is worth saving, on that day I think Joel made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
But if I saw something on the TV or something I read or something on the news that we can see like the wrong side of humanity, I think on those days I would be on Joel's side because I would save my own first and then the others. I know that's selfish and so on. So
Yeah.
to be honest, it's not an easy decision, and I can see both sides having a reason to do that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I think in the if I separate my personal feelings, if I have to think on the better decision on the greater good, I think that Joel did the wrong move.
Yeah. But that's basically like putting rationality against emotions, right? It's
Yeah,
basically, well, if you think it's like that whole thing of saving 10 persons instead of by sacrificing one. uh, on a rational level, 10 persons are more valuable than one, but you can't. Th- there's no way of actually establishing that, like in a real way.
yeah.
So for Joel, Ellie is more valuable than all of the rest of humanity.
Okay. So now that we know how we felt about the end of Last of Us 1, because it will impact directly, I think, Last of Us 2, and if
Hmm.
we like Abby or not, or if we understand what Abby does or not, okay?
Hmm.
I think that now we can go to Last of Us 2. So what do you thought of the beginning? Did you think that you would play? Were you prepared to play with Abby on the beginning?
I heard rumors. that I would play with another character, not besides Ellie and not as Joel, because a couple of my friends were spoiled by the leaks that the game had, and they kind of hinted it at me, and I was like, okay, I'll probably play with someone else. Um, Having said that, I wasn't expecting it to be right away at the beginning, and I was kind of, but at the moment that I knew that Abby was searching for someone and was kind of had that revenge feeling for that someone that she was searching for, I knew exactly that she was talking about Joel. And given that in the intro itself, that we were given the flashback of Joel entering the saving Ellie, I assumed immediately that it was because of that whole eliminating the fireflies, basically. So immediately I understood where she was coming from, why she wanted to kill Joel. Having said that, uh, I was kind of enraged by that prologue, let's say, by that whole moment, the sequence of Joel being killed. Because I wasn't expecting it to be. By the way, I was also spoiled that Joel was going to die at some point during the game. So I was expecting it to happen. I didn't expect it to be right away. Also because of the trailers that Naughty Dog released, that they were hinting that Joel and Ellie would have some time together once Ellie was grown up.
They
But
changed that scene.
yeah, yeah, many
They
scenes
put it,
actually.
yeah, in the trailer. It was Joel, but then I think it was her friend, how it's
Jesse.
called, Jesse. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Jesse that appears on that scene.
yeah, definitely. One thing that I didn't know before was that there was a demo that some people played of the Last of Us, like 3 hours. It was I don't remember where it was. It was in Hillcrest. Yeah, exactly. In Seattle Day 2, uh, in which basically it finished on that point where Jesse grabs Ellie, and on that demo they actually showed Joel. It wasn't just on the trails, on actual demos. People actually playing the game. So they were very very sneaky on that. They were
Mhm.
very focused on hiding the Joel's death.
Definitely.
Um, what was I going to say? But regardless of my anger in that scene, because I was in shock. It was many emotions at once. I think it only hit me at the end of the game itself, which maybe I should get into a bit later when we get to that point.
Okay.
Um, and what about you?
Yeah. Um, so, like I said, I didn't really play the game. I wasn't prepared
Hmm.
to play Last of Us 2. I thought it was too dark since the first trailers. I love Last of Us 1. It was one of my favorites. But I think it was more lighter and has more green spaces and more daylight things. And I think that on this one they pushed more for the horror side of Last of Us 2. So they focus on, it was almost always raining. It was those dark days, things to do at night, and so on. So
Hmm.
I think they focus on a more gray Last of Us. So since the beginning, I thought I'm not ready to play this. It's too stressful with this Corona situation. I don't want to handle. So I
Yeah.
decided to watch all the playthroughs. So when I
Hmm.
was watching the beginning, I didn't notice at first that Abby was looking into the town of Joe, Tommy, and Ellie. It seems like
Okay.
a town with electricity, but at the time I didn't match right away that it was
Yeah.
Joe town that they were looking to. So when I saw that, and I thought it was quite strange for Abby to go on a horde thing and find Joel and Tommy. So it didn't seems to be like it seemed honest for maybe to want to save all of them to get to her friends. At the time, it didn't seem to me that she was planning, that she had planned all of that.
I don't think just for me to understand if I got it right. You're saying that that she didn't plan like to actually find Joel and bring him to
Yeah.
bring them. Okay. Um, I agree that she didn't plan that because all that she knew was that Owen saw some patrols going for that snow how do you say it, snow ride thing basically. I can't remember the name, and she just went to that path, and that path, and what we find out, I think Ali even mentions it with Dina, was that that snow thing right there is part of Joel's and Tommy's patrol,
Hmm.
and so hence why they actually cross. But Abby went on a whim. I think she was even talking to herself at that point, like, Abby, what are you doing? This is
Yeah.
just stupid and blah blah blah. So yeah, she wasn't being rational at that point. She just went for it because most likely once the guy saw that whole town with electricity and lots of armed guys protecting that area, it would be practically impossible to actually get into there and kill Joel. So she decided to go
Yeah.
into it by herself.
And
But yeah, proceed. Sorry.
when she found and all scene happens, at first I didn't think that they would kill Joel because I
Yeah,
thought it's too early in the game
yeah,
to
yeah.
kill Joel. I remember on trailers seeing him on other parts of the game that I didn't saw yet.
Exactly.
So I was very chilled. I thought nothing will happen to Joel. Ellie will come and save him, or something will happen, or they will take him as a hostage, or something like that. Um, so I
Surprise.
was really chilled about it. And then when they killed Joel, at the beginning, wasn't believing that was the end. Like, that must be something here. So Joel, it's not that. I only realized when they were talking about getting to Seattle to find them, and Tommy saying, "Oh, I don't know if we should do that or something like that," and Ellie saying, "If it was Joel would do it." So when they were talking about it, and she got the guitar and all that scene,
Yeah.
I that when everything come true, and I said, "Yeah, Joel, it's that." And in the beginning, I thought it must be related with the Fireflies, but
Hmm.
but then I was thinking also that was too obvious, so I wasn't 100% sure until we get to the part when we have the confirmation that was related with the Fireflies. I
Hmm.
was I was thinking it must be, but then on my head I was thinking, man, that was too obvious to do that. So it must be something different that we are talking about. I don't know if
But
for you it was clear since the beginning that it was a revenge related with the Fireflies.
it was I kind of it was, as you said, it was the most obvious choice. Even I don't know if you remember, even in that reveal trailer,
Yeah,
in which they even showed like a sign of the Fireflies just crossed out or something. Um, I immediately associated that Ellie was out killing for that, something related to that. So I wasn't expecting anything else, to be honest.
really?
Yeah.
Because from the trailers, I always thought that Dina was the one that was going
Oh
to get
no.
killed,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then
That's true.
it would be a revenge for her girlfriend.
Yeah.
Beginning, I
Uh,
thought The Last of Us 2 would be about it, not
I
deeply connected with Joel and so on. So, in my opinion, when I was thinking about The Last of Us 2, I thought Ellie discovers that Joel lied to her, leaves
Mm-hmm.
him, go to a different town, find um, finds Dina, have a relationship with Dina, and then
Mm-hmm.
someone attack her, kill Dina, and then she goes to revenge Dina. That was
Yeah.
on the first trailers, the plot
Mm-hmm.
that I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah. No, I can see that, and I I kind of thought similarly to that before the leaks. So once I knew that Joel was going to die, that's why I was
Mhm.
thinking, well, why would someone kill him? Maybe because of fireflies. That would make sense. That's why they showed it in the trailer. Oh, yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't see any other way. But by the way, we didn't get to talk about it. What did you think of the intro, like the actual intro before Ellie grows up, where
When
Joel plays
you're,
for her
yeah,
and
I think it was a good reminder of their relationship.
yeah.
I think that I have some thoughts that, in my opinion, they should have some of the flashbacks that they have, like almost at the end of the game, should be in the beginning, because I think that someone that didn't play Last of Us 1 or play it in 2013 and didn't thought it was the best game of their generation, it was just another game,
Mm-hmm,
don't have time to true connected with Joel. So
mm-hmm,
in my opinion, they should have put it some of the flashbacks from that appears more in the end in the beginning, so the player could connect to Joel more and understand Joel and Ellie relationship a little bit better
mm-hmm.
before they kill Joel.
I can see that, and I mean I can agree with that on the point that it would be more effective for other people that
Yeah.
didn't enjoy the first game that much, but I think that would be less effective for the people who did love their relationship.
Do you think?
Uh, I
Because
think
seeing them grow up and seeing that birthday, um, I think the birthday flashback happens after Joel is dead.
yeah, it happens. It's at the end of the first day in Seattle.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
seeing that flashback being a little bit before Joel dies, having the context, I think it was the last flashback where they have a talk and Ellie doesn't know if she will be able to excuse Joel for what
Yeah.
he has done. Having
Hmm.
that before Joel is killed, I think it would be really impactful, because then you understand how Ellie feels. Because in the previous day, they had a discussion. She
Yeah, they
said
did.
to him, I don't know if I will ever be able to excuse
Yeah.
you, and if I don't know if I'll ever be able to see you as I saw before. And you see Joel really, really sad about it,
Yeah.
almost crying.
Yeah.
And then you see Joel die. I think it would have a major impact on the player.
She did. I like. I can see that it will have a major impact, but I think at the end it did have a huge impact for me. Like I can't overstate how much of a bigger of an impact that scene did for me at the end. Like I can I think we need to get there first, so I don't start drifting off here.
Yeah. So
Uh,
let's go. So
yeah.
Joel, it's that. I think in that moment, most of the players are connected with Ellie, and I think
Hmm.
80% or 90% of the players would be willing to kill Abby on the fly, and I would
Yeah,
also at that moment.
me too. Yeah.
So I think they do a great job on giving the player the same motivation as the one that you're playing. So
Hmm.
I think everyone identifies with Ellie at that moment and has the same feeling that she has. So
Hmm.
it's really difficult, I think, in games to do that. And I think that at that moment, Naughty Dog has done like an excellent job.
Agree.
And then then we start day one. So basically, on day one, I think Dina, and before we start day one, Dina, Tommy talks with them. We see Tommy leave. Ellie wants to go and save Tommy as an excuse, but she really wants to grab Abby and kill Abby.
Yeah.
So at that moment, we start day one. They reach Seattle. What do you thought about that open world section that we have, like in the first day, that you have a huge space
Yeah.
to go
Hmm.
through and find all stuff that you can find. I think you even are able to get a shotgun
Yeah. In the
in
bank.
that
Yeah.
moment in the bank. So, what did you
Exactly. Yeah.
thought about that?
I really liked it, and I was hoping they were. I was actually hoping that they were going for that small open world thing later. Also later in the game, I was a bit sad that they didn't because I really like this Naughty Dog's approach to an open world because it's very different than what you see in other games. Um, like it gives you it doesn't tell you directly where you can go to find something. It gives you maybe small hints like finding a note and then or hearing Dina talking or something, and it makes the experience of exploring all the more rewarding. For instance, in that bank, it was the first location that I think that I visited because of a note that I found on the bus stop saying that there were lots of guns in the bank, and I went there and I opened the safes, and I have a thought about the safe mechanic, opening the safes. But I opened the safes and there were lots of resources in there. I found the shotgun, and it all felt so natural, you know. And the same applies to all the rest of the areas of the open world of this small area. Like there was a small moment. I don't know if you saw it in your playthrough, in the playthrough that you saw, that in the music store that you can enter, there is actually a guitar there that Ellie can play,
Yeah,
and plays the "Take on Me" to Dina. That was also a very amazing moment that I missed on my first playthrough. I
yeah,
only
you
got it on my second. Yeah, I missed it. I don't know how, because I thought I went to that music store. I was like making sure that I went to every spot, but I missed it. And when I saw like on YouTube lots of "Take on Me" covers, I was like, but what do you mean? Like, but and it's such an amazing moment. It's these very nice moments that you can find on your own that makes it more precious.
yeah,
Um, Having said that, I was mentioning the safes. I don't know if you know this, but like when you open the safe in Last of Us, you can find most of the times or all the times there is a note saying which code it is or how you can find the code.
yeah.
But you can actually open them without a piece of paper,
Yes.
just by listening to the clicks, and it's so cool. It's like such a cool detail that I just started on my I only knew about it like most of in the middle of my first playthrough, and I thought it's so cool that I most of the times I just once I saw a save I wasn't like even reading the note or something. I was just trying to find it by itself in such a cool detail. I really appreciated it. Um,
Yeah, I
and
saw in
also
the guy that I saw the
yeah,
walkthrough on the first save, I think, or on the second, he tried right away. Let me check if I can open the safe without a code.
yeah,
And you could see the difference. And then he tried and opened. So after that, most of the saves he opened without having the code.
Yeah, yeah, it's even more fun, honestly.
Yeah,
It's much more fun. Um, but well, aside from the safe here, I definitely thought that the first day was also the most lighthearted one. Definitely, is it's just a small, it's just a couple of small moments that are like just spending time with Dina, getting to know her as well, about her past, about her family, and I really liked it. I really liked it. I wish they did they did this kind of stuff more in the game
yeah. I
because
think
they're really nice.
there were some flaws there, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I hate seeing games doing the same gaming mechanic, like you get to a place, oh, you cannot enter, you need to go around. And I thought that they used that a lot on that first day, like you to teach you the rope mechanic that you could throw and
Yeah.
open the things to go to ask you to go find gasoline or fuel or something like that.
Hmm.
It was really strange for me that you reach to a place where you want to have fuel. He has a big shuriken, and then she doesn't fill it out, so she just fill a little bit and then turn it off. So it was strange for me why she didn't fill the
The canister.
yeah, the canister until the end. I don't know why. Um, and my only problem with that song was those gaming mechanics that you find, the ways that they have you explore everything instead of trying new ways to do that. Because I
I
think
I
it's getting uh, so so it has been used so many times that it's getting like not fun anymore.
I can agree with that. If we were talking about at the time with the first Last of Us, I think with this one, I to be honest, I really liked playing with the rope mechanic. I thought it was really well implemented, and it's not something that you see in many games. At least at the moment, I can recall any game that uses this rope mechanic at this extent, like the with this much freedom, let's say. And I really like how, I don't know, it kind of it changed these environmental puzzles um, as far as it could in the world of The Last of Us, because they will keep doing, as not knowing Naughty Dog as they will keep doing environmental puzzles probably forever. I don't know. They've been doing them since Uncharted, since the first Uncharted. But I really liked I didn't really like the puzzles of the first one. I just thought they were boring. I just had to find a board for Ellie because she couldn't swim, and so it kind of it got kind of boring. Um, but instead, in the second one, I was kind of like having fun figuring out how I could do them. So I don't know. So I kind of disagree with that point. I mean, I would agree if it wasn't as well implemented as I thought it was. But though I can see your point, yes.
Yeah, I think that my only problem, I think the game tries to be so grounded, so real,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that there's some gaming stuff that, in my opinion, doesn't make sense. So that's one, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one I can put it right away. It's the ammunition part that you have, like you reach the limit of your ammunition. I don't understand that. So she has space for all the stuff that she finds, like she finds some cards she puts on there, she finds some other stuff and she put it there. I think it would be good to have like a threshold for sure, that because that backpack, it's not, it has a limit,
You can,
but
yeah, of course, of course.
it would be good if you had the possibility to select what you want and what you didn't want. So I want to have, so I use more the shotgun and not much the pistol. So
Mm-hmm.
when I reach the limit of the shotgun, I could like leave my pistol, added ammunition, and change for more shotgun ammunition because I think that would make more real, more
Mm-hmm.
how you would handle in the proper in the on that situation. Okay, because I think that she has a lot of stuff in the backpack, and if you were in the real situation, maybe you would select more ammunition of a specific weapon or something instead of things that she has on the backpack. And I never see you have that option, and I think it would be good because you would make the game more real, in my opinion. It would make feel like a decision that you would make on the same
Mm-hmm.
situation if you were there.
I can agree with that. I didn't have, to be honest, I didn't have a problem with this. I mean, I felt annoyed that I mixed up my ammo for shotgun, and so I can catch this ammo right here. I felt that, but I didn't feel annoyed that because of having free slots for other ammo. But having said that, I agree with you. I think if they were able to implement that feature in a simple way to manage the inventory on that level, I think it would be interesting, and to give that more freedom to the player. I think it would in fact be better. Yes, I agree. Um, though I can't really see a way of them being able to do that uh, to easily do that. Like how can I say this? To not make it too complicated for you to change ammo or set or throw ammo away or something. Like in the middle of combat, let's imagine. It's not a very practical thing to do to implement. I mean, but I agree with you. It would be
Yeah,
interesting to see that.
I think that that would also makes change on the gameplay because you
It would,
could
yeah.
use the weapons that you prefer more
Hmm.
instead of. I think when I played Last of Us 1, one of the things that happened to me was I always tried to avoid using my weapons. Then I reached the end of the game and I had like all ammunition and I
Yeah,
didn't use
yeah.
some weapons because I was always afraid what if I use now and then I need in the future.
Hmm.
And that feeling made me not use most of the weapons, I think, or not use as much as I could
Hmm.
because I was always afraid of not having ammo for a boss fight or for a specific situation.
Yeah.
And if they did these, I think it could help you play with the weapons that you enjoy more,
Hmm.
and you didn't felt like you were obliged to play with all the weapons. So it would give you more different play styles depending on the way that you like to play.
Hmm. Though I on the other hand, I can see them like wanting to almost force the player to feel like they're running out of ammo, and they need to search the place and explore all the area the best they can do. Um, and giving that freedom, giving them that freedom to choose the ammo that they want to save, would maybe reduce that feeling of uh, having to search for ammo. So I don't know if that was on their mind when thinking of restricting the player to these sets of ammo, and that's it, or they just didn't care for it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, okay, yeah. In
Yeah.
overall, yeah, I agree with that.
So then, I don't think there is much to highlight on day one. Or do you remember anything else that was important on day one?
what was important on the one after that area. I know that they found the first guy that they that was involved with Joel's murder, and they
Hmm.
killed him. Ellie killed him. Um, what happened? What happened next? And then they had to flee to the theater
Yeah,
to yeah, exactly. Oh, and by the way, it was the first time that that it was also hinted that the Seraphites were hinted.
yeah,
In which we when we entered in the TV station, we saw all these bodies hanging out with their balls uh, just
open.
hanging
Yeah,
there, and it was a very interesting first impression about that. Seeing the trailers, I assumed it was about the Seraphites, but even then, like it was a very unique scenario, which I very much enjoyed. Um, and what happens next? Then they flee into the theater, and we find out that Dean is pregnant.
yeah, and
Wh-
that ends day
Which,
one, I think.
yeah. Uh, what do you, so far? What did you think about Dina and her relationship with Ellie?
Well, I think I like Dina.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was a good character. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult to talk about Dina without spoiling the end, but I think that uh, Dina does more to Ellie than Ellie does for Dina.
Mm-hmm.
So I
I
think
agree.
that
Yeah.
Dina sacrificed everything for Ellie because she loved Ellie. And I think that Ellie didn't do that, like Dina being pregnant, being there. I think Ellie was selfish, in my opinion, on that moment
Mm-hmm.
because she put it the revenge on top of everything, and that's what Ellie does throughout this game. That's why,
Yeah.
in the end, I prefer Abby because I think Abby has grown and has changed in the other, and I don't think that Ellie does that. So I think uh, Abby went with her. Sorry, Dina went with her,
Odin.
did everything for Ellie. If I was on that situation when I knew that a person that I love was pregnant, even though the child was not mine, she explained what happened and so on.
Yeah.
I would protect her instead of going to with my revenge. But maybe that's how I feel now because I don't have that feeling of want to revenge something. So it's a feeling that I'm not aware of it. I didn't
Maybe
felt before, so I don't know how I would react.
maybe it's that thing of being rational versus emotional.
Yeah, yeah.
I would
It's
say that.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like when we are talking about if my wife or girlfriend cheat me, I would do that or I wouldn't do that. It's
Exactly.
those things that you only know when you are in the situation at the moment.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the revenge thing, it's the same way. It's a particular feeling that you can't go through your life without having to feel it, and it's
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Of course.
I'm not saying that you should have to feel it, but it's a way that you think. So I'm thinking in a way that I would think I would be on that situation. I don't feel about
Yeah.
the situation, and for me, since I don't have the connection with revenge, but I have the connection with love, so I think it would
Mm-hmm.
be easier to put love on top and revenge on the bottom.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I think at that moment when Ellie knew, I understand she was upset. I understand
Mm-hmm.
she was jealous because I think in the next day Jesse appears and you can feel that Ellie is jealous about their relationship.
Yeah.
Um, and I understand that she left and continues with the revenge for that day. But when she comes back and she's cooled down, I think you should prioritize having your loved one to a safe spot. And
I
then
think in that.
if you want to come back for revenge, then it's up to you. Okay. But at
Hmm.
that moment, I think it should be, or what I'm saying is at the end of day two, because I can understand day two happening because it was something that you weren't expecting.
Hmm. Hmm.
But at the end of day two, after you saw what happens and the danger that that you are putting your loved one,
Yeah.
that you live. That's my opinion.
Um, I agree. That's what one should do. Yes. But having said that, at the end of the one after day one, once Ellie wakes up, I think she did apologize to Dina, and they were just focused on finding Tommy, basically, in which they almost immediately, when while Dina was on the radio doing her thing, there were some hints that of Tommy's location, which was when Ellie went to Hillcrest, but instead of Tommy, it was Jesse. So I could see her after cooling down. I could see her intents of getting revenge cooling down as well. At least some hints about it. But I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, because at the end of day one, we still have the flashback museum
Yeah,
before going to day two. Yeah,
I think that's the best scene of the game, in my opinion.
I
I
agree.
think that flashback is so perfect. I'm glad that they didn't screw up with clickers or bad guys or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah,
I think it was really cool that it reminded me a little bit about. I don't know if you have played the Left Behind DLC
yeah, yeah.
of
I did,
Last
I
of
did.
Us One. So
Hmm.
that first initial part where you have Ellie and I don't recall the other girl name.
Um, it was Riley. Riley.
Yeah, I really enjoy it because it was like on the post-apocalyptic game, you had like moments of pure joy, and
Yeah,
that's how I felt when I saw that scene. So it was just cool to have a moment of peace and how life should be, and two people interacting with each other, showing love, having all that scene with the dinosaurs, and then going to the moon or on being the astronauts and so on. So I
yeah.
really liked that scene, and even though while I was watching, I was always thinking, will they be attacked? Won't they be attacked? Or something like
Me
that.
too. Especially at the end, in which like I think Ellie had to sneak in and open the door for Joel, and then you hear some noise and start grabbing like supplies and stuff, and I was like, oh, they're ruining it. They're ruining
Mm.
it.
So I
But
really like it that they didn't do that. They didn't use that cliche of it was really cool and then
yeah,
something pops up. I think they left the way it should be. So really cool scene, really cool moment, peace and
yeah.
quiet, and just about character development. So I think it was really good. But what did you thought, Ruki?
I thought it's exactly the same. And doing this kind of thing, there were some people saying that they should have done this as the beginning of the game, like showing Ellie and Joel starting right there, and then once Ellie gets to the space shuttle and starts hearing the tape and gets her eyes closed, they say that, oh, well, from this moment on, you should like time skip to Ellie waking up in Jackson, as it did in the beginning of the game. I don't agree with that. I think this was the the perfect timing for this flashback because it just makes you also as a player it just makes you mourn Joel, just and appreciate the moment, this moment even more. This moment of just pure, as you said, pure joy, pure happiness, and just them getting along with each other. Um, and I don't know, it was very, very full of very touching moments and just beautiful all the way through. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what I can say besides what you said.
Yeah, I think
Absolutely
it.
loved it.
Yeah, I think it. That's what Naughty Dog does best. It's creating characters and developing those characters and creating
Yeah,
relations and
definitely,
creating
definitely.
cool moments on story. I think that's what they do best for sure. And that's a moment where they show all their capabilities because I think it's just perfect. I wouldn't change anything. I think it had the right duration, the right
Hmm.
moment, and so on. So for me, it's perfect. Like I said, I wouldn't mind having these flashbacks before Joel is dead, just for more connection, so the player could get more connection and for Joel death to be even bigger in terms of impacts to the player, because you would
Hmm.
have like a really nice moment, really cool moment, and then you would see someone kill Joel. I think it would have a major. These flashbacks with the other flashback that I was talking about happened for this one and then the next one, and then Joel is dead. That sequence will create a really impactful scene to the player, but I understand them wanting to spread them out throughout the game.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was the end of day one. I think I don't know if it is in the end of day one or if it is in day two that you kill the
No,
Chinese girl with the PS Vita.
yeah, it's day two. Yeah, it's day
It's
two.
day two. Okay, then
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about that. Um, what did you thought? I don't know if you saw. One thing that I thought strange. There's only
Hmm.
PS3 that I found in the that I saw, and it was always the fat PS3. I don't know if you noticed the same.
I
It
know.
was strange that you couldn't find a PS4 or a PS3 Slim or
I think PS4 because PS regarding PS3 Slim, yeah, that's strange that you didn't have other models. But PS4 technically, it didn't came out at the time of the outbreak day,
yeah,
because the
that's true.
it was like I think it was end of September or beginning of October of 2013. So I think it didn't come out.
They should be on storage on the October 2000.
Like a bunch of
Yeah,
panels showing ads.
they were already
That would
manufactured for
be
sure.
sorry.
They were already manufactured for sure in September,
Yeah, no, that
October.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
But regarding the two, I think when it comes to gameplay, I think it was the most uh, the the day that I enjoyed the most playing as Ellie because it was in yeah when we began in Hillcrest. The Hillcrest it was basically just a whole a bunch of zones just filled with guys to kill, and it
that's
was a
the moment where you have the seraphites and you are shot with the bow
it's
with
on that
the. It's
it's
on
on
that
that
day, right?
it's on that day. It's after Hillcrest. It's after
Mhm.
you find Jesse, but it's on that day. Yes.
Yeah,
But in Hillcrest, um, it was the first time that while playing, I started actually to feel bad. Like legit, I was legit having feels about each guy that I was getting to kill. Like I'll never forget. Like there was a moment at the end of a second zone. I don't know in Hillcrest, in like I I already killed a bunch of guys, and I think there were like four left, and that was already fun. So I was like running and hiding, and at this point I was hiding in the grass, and these guys were searching for me on the roof, and each one of them was coming out one by one on the window, and I killed. I was with my bow and arrow, and I had four arrows, and I killed one with a headshot. One called his name, and ran out, and I killed her as well. And then another one came, did the same thing. It was like, oh man, don't come out, man, don't come out now, please. And she came out and like, okay.
I don't
And
want to
then the
kill
first
you.
one, yeah, I legit didn't want it. Like it was this feeling I never had a feeling like this, like with just an NPC. I mean, it happens sometimes with when you face like an important boss in a video game or something, but just like it didn't happen. It never happened to me on this level. It was like a very very unique thing to do for them to be able to do. Um,
I think that
so,
the parts that didn't impress me more, it's when
mhm.
you have to kill the dogs and you know the sound that they make when they are dying.
Yeah, yeah, but actually, I think it is the first game that I didn't feel bad for the dogs because they were too annoying. Like they were always going to be able to find you, and so I just thought, okay, I'll just have to kill them. I just have to kill them, and then I did, and that was like a relief because they couldn't track me anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't feel
But
regrets.
there's a special dog that you kill
Oh,
far in the
Alice,
game
yes,
that
yes, that
they
one I
just,
felt bad,
yeah, that you do at the moment you don't feel bad, but then
but then
when
you
you
do.
play with Abby, man, that
He
hits
plays
you
bad,
hard. Yeah,
and
because you know
I
what will
didn't
happen.
realize it.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it after. Like once I found Alice, that I was like, oh, that was me. Oh, oh god. Yeah, that one hit me. That's the one
yeah.
that hit me the most. Um,
But I
but
was,
yeah, okay.
yeah, I think that it was really cool that all the NPCs had names. It gives you
Yeah,
it gives you a feeling that they are real people in just not just one more.
yeah, exactly. That's the
And
thing.
yeah, I think that what they did there, it was really good.
Definitely. Definitely. And also, like, just to give a shout out to the world building itself, like that, the whole finding notes and other stuff, and just seeing the like, or either dead bodies or just pictures of people and such. I think Naughty Dog also, besides their character writing and the relations, they also do an amazing job with world building like letting you understand a story of what happened just by you looking or exploring this zone. I think it's really well done, and it was that was one consistent aspect of the game, that aspect throughout the game. I mean, which I really appreciated. Just makes it even more real.
And what did you thought about the collectibles of those cards that you'd collect with Ellie?
I
What
didn't
do you think?
really mind it that much. I mean, I would try to find just for the sake of collecting them all, but I didn't really care for them. I tried reading some, and there was one that it was funny. There was one which was like um, inspired by the director Neil Druckmann, which I don't know, which was a nice touch, a nice Easter egg. But overall, I didn't really enjoy it, especially with the coins, with Abby and her coins. I
Yeah,
didn't really,
I couldn't.
especially not those.
The coins I didn't relate to, but I
Yeah,
think that the cards had some cool things there written. So I think they were cool cards with cool messages, and I think it was
was there anything? What kind of messages? Because I honestly can't remember. I read like the
I don't
first couple of
remember
cards.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember now that you're asking because it wasn't something that there wasn't anyone that I really save in my memory. But I
Mm-hmm,
remember
mm-hmm.
while I was watching, seeing those cool, like you're saying, the notes and all of that, all things created in the world had some nice touch, something personal, something
No, yeah, yeah.
relatable. So, and I think the cars were the same. The coins didn't have much, so I didn't. It was cool because it was something that you know that Abby's father we used to collect,
Mm-hmm,
so you
mm-hmm.
can relate with that. But yeah, so related with day two, we have also the first we know or we have the first contact with the Seraphites, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you thought about the Seraphites?
I really enjoyed fighting against them. I thought the way they communicated, like with the whistles, just made it all the more creepy and just makes you keep being constantly on edge while fighting against them. And it was I don't know that first encounter in the zoo in Seattle. I just I kept feeling chills by each whistle that they did, and it was very nice enemy type for them to create here,
Yeah,
and and also not just fighting, but their actual history and their actual like traditions and the way of them executing people in public, just very creepy and very creepy cult, let's say.
yeah.
Uh,
I thought that
yeah.
they didn't. Well, they didn't explore more of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know a lot about the wolves, the Abby's Abby's side of the story, but the Seraphites, you know a little bit when you go there. But I
Mm-hmm.
think they were so interesting that they could have more time to shine and they could have more details about their society, how they were built, what was their purpose, what were the end goal, all of that. I think it's explained, but just on small chunks. It's not very detailed and not doesn't have much depth, the depth that I would like for them to have.
I think they left it disambiguous on purpose. Like I think it's that kind of stuff that they don't give you all the answers, but they give you enough information for you to be able to interpret it and be able to understand or at least or at least try to make your own ideas of what they are trying to do. Some notes when you're playing as every, like you have some notes of the Seraphites, like making wishes or prayers to the I don't know what was called, like their prophet figure. I,
Mm-hmm.
I I can remember her name. Um, and then seeing Haven and their village, how they live, which is a very modest way, and and seeing that they also do have these kinds of very traditional way of thinking, as we saw with Lev's mom and the way she treated him and such. So we can have like a good idea of what it's like to be a Seraphite, to live with them, I think. So I yes, I can agree with you that we could have more information on them, but I don't feel we had we were we have missing information, you know.
Yeah. And then
Um,
I think
yeah,
we have that part with the Chinese girl playing PS Vita.
yeah,
I,
which was a nice touch.
I, I didn't understand why they showed that on the trailer because it was one of the things that they showed like on the 2 days before releasing the trailer with that. I think
Yeah.
it would be more a cool moment if you didn't know that would happen, and I didn't understand why they selected Hotline Miami to be the game.
Well, why? I can't really
When
say. Maybe it's like an analogy to all these mindless killing.
I don't know. I don't know because they have like Uncharted Golden Abyss there. I know that wasn't
Yeah, that's true.
Naughty Dog doing, but it is an Uncharted game. So
That's true.
and Hotline Miami is not a PS exclusive, so I don't know
I
what
mean, I.
was the deal with that. But the thing that I found really strange is
Hmm.
I'm 100% sure that Ellie would pick that and put it on the backpack because she's more connected with gaming and so on. So if she found a working gaming PS Vita, that's really rare because you're talking about like
Yeah,
10 years in the future, battery working, charger, all of that. It's really rare. Um, I think that she would pick up and put it on the backpack.
I think you're right. But I never I never thought about it. But I mean, yeah, if she likes moves, if she while going for this quest of revenge for Joel, well, she even takes the time to search for cards. I think then it would make perfect sense for her to pick up that Vita. And I never thought about it actually. But yeah, yeah. And it'd be like really cool to actually have her play Miami like they did with Crash and Uncharted
Yeah,
4. Yeah,
yeah,
that would be really cool.
yeah,
Maybe next Last of Us.
yeah.
But yeah, that's maybe yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah. Do do you want to highlight something else for day two?
Well, maybe Nora.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think once we found her, and Ellie starts questioning her about Abby's location, and when Nora just starts talking about Joel, and just she says like something like, "Do you?" Tell her saying to Ellie, "Can you still hear his screams?" I can. And yeah, that little bitch got what he deserved. The moment that she says that, I like, just like Ellie, I just like snap, and I'm like, oh, you didn't say that. You just didn't say that, man. And I just get so mad, and I'm like, okay, no, I gotta kill you. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna kill you. And then we get into that pursuit, and we fall down with clickers and stuff. And then once we go through that, we start questioning her and torturing her. And I'm like, Ellie did such a cool pose of her, just like she just crouches with the what you call it, the thing that she's with the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
She just crouches holding the pipe, and she was like legit threatening. She kind of started to remind me of Joe uh, in that like that torture scene in Winter in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it was very cool to see her like that. But then she kept hitting her, which then I started feeling a bit uncomfortable with that. Um, and then she ends at the theater, and then we see her shaking, and see her traumatized, reaching for Dina, and that's what when you see that she's not Joel, that she did that, but came with a cost, and she didn't. Um, she felt regret. She felt bad, and seeing her, um, it was just this very quiet moment, but so impactful of um, um, her sitting with Dean on her side, just watching her back, her wounded back, um, and just staring, blank staring at what she did, with all the regret in her eyes. I think it was a very powerful moment there. Um, and seeing her, Dina embracing her, and she admitting or telling Dina that she didn't want to lose her, um, just was very powerful moment.
Yeah,
regardless of what she did at the ending.
yeah,
But yeah.
I agree with you.
Hmm.
And I think that's why on that moment, I think that's why I think Ellie was really selfish because, well,
Do you mean?
Dina went with her, was there for her throughout the game,
Hmm.
and Ellie never, or she never really appreciated or showed how much she appreciated what Dina has done for her.
I think she appreciated. I disagree on that point, but I think um, like at the end, you're talking about the end, right?
Yeah. No,
That
I'm
point in
not
the end.
talking of all. I'm just saying like moments before we were talking about day one, and I thought that
Hmm.
in the end of day two, I would
Okay. Yes.
say,
Hmm. Hmm.
let's leave. I'm done. You're more
Hmm.
important to me than all of this. And
Yeah. Okay. I see what you
that's
mean.
because of that moment, that scene when that you were describing, that you
Hmm. Hmm.
see Ellie back all full of bruises, old bruises, and all that she has gone through. You see Tina being there, even though she knows that Abby's still a little bit upset about the pregnancy stuff, and not and Tina didn't ask her to leave. Tina didn't ask her anything. Tina understood what Ellie needed to do,
Hmm.
and Ellie didn't thought twice of Tina. She just thought about herself through and through the game. And on that moment, I thought, Ellie, you need to go back to Jacksonville. I think it's the how it's called, the town. You
Yeah.
need to go back and save Dina because she's more important than everything that you're doing right now. And she doesn't do that. We have day three,
Hmm.
and even worse, after all of this, we have the final part that just makes me feel so bad about how they ended. But well, we will reach there. But
Okay.
what did you think, Joaquin? Do you think that Ellie did the right thing at that moment?
Do you mean are we talking about leaving Dina with leaving with Jesse and go find Abby or Tommy in this case? Or
Yeah, yeah,
I think that Ellie was trying. I think she did appreciate she appreciates what Dina did for her, and and that she was trying to keep it to consider that. And at the moment they left, that she left with Jesse, they were just trying to find Tommy and leave. But oh, obviously that didn't, as we know, that's not what happened. That she eventually just kept focusing on finding Abby and disregarding Tommy, regardless of what Jesse would say to her and so on. So I think she was trying, and I think she felt a conflict, an inner conflict with that. Um, so I don't think she went all blind, just completely disregard what others did for her, uh, even though that's what eventually happened at the end of the day.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, uh, so at the beginning of day three, I think for me, it was the it's not that I did not like it. I liked it very much, but I think it was the least fun day that I of the game, because a lot of it was just riding the boat.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that engaging as previously, as in the other days. Um, but yeah, so we separate from Jesse because Jesse got a hint. They got a hint that of Tommy's location, but Ellie completely disregarded it. Ellie thought that they shouldn't try to find Tommy directly. They should go to Abby, and that Tommy would be there. Um, and so they separate from each other. And then we go with Ellie to the aquarium, which was their hint of the whereabouts of Abby. And eventually she gets there through after a bunch of confrontations with the Seraphites and so on. And then at the entrance we kill a dog, which by the way, we were talking about this before. Not only the fact that we know the dog later on as Abby makes it more impactful, but there is since this was an actual scripted moment, they actually took more time to put some details in the dog at the time of her death. So like on her face, you see her like shock when Ellie stabs her, which was just I don't know, just makes it more real and more painful to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
moving on.
Not even Naughty Dog has some naughty people,
Sorry.
because Naughty Dog has some naughty people there, because they make you play with the dog knowing that you had killed the dog.
Yeah, yeah. They know what they do.
Yeah.
They're completely aware of. Yeah, they just want to mess with us.
Yeah, there's a moment when you are with Abby that you are playing with the dog, and
Yeah,
you are teaching Lev, and I don't know, I don't recall the other girl's name.
Yara.
Yara, you're teaching them to not be afraid of the dogs because the Seraphites are afraid of the dogs, because
Yeah,
they're normally there is confrontations between Seraphites and I think it's called the wolves.
yeah,
So they are really afraid of the dogs, and then you have two moments where first you teach Lev that you shouldn't be afraid of the dogs, and I think he does pet the dog, and then a later moment you play with the dog with Yara, that she's also afraid of dogs, and
yeah.
throw, I think it's an octopus
Yeah,
doll or something like that. You throw the octopus
it is.
dog, and you play with the dog, the dog that you kill, that is killed by
Yeah.
Ellie on day 3 of Ellie. So yeah, continue
Not.
explaining
Yeah,
what happens on day 3.
yeah. So basically, we kill Alice, the dog, and then we find Owen with Mel fighting about something that we don't know yet. And Ellie at the moment again just tries to be Joel. She does that interrogation technique of having one of them point to the map and the other saying the location to make sure they match. But it just goes wrong, and Owen just tries to go for her gun, and she shoots Owen. Mel tries to stab Ellie, and Ellie stabs her back in the neck, and it all went very, very badly for Ellie, because she didn't find about Abby, and she found out through Owen's dying words that Mel was pregnant. And once Abby checks that out, because of checks her belly, Mel's belly, she just loses herself in the moment. And sorry, and Jesse and Tommy just show up to get her. And I think this was a moment of like, I don't think Ellie was in the wrong in this specific moment, because what she did right now um, was basically, I think it was basically self-defense in this case, to be honest. I think, like,
I
let me
don't know
say
if I
that
agree with you.
Like I think what she did previously was not, and was just based on anger and revenge. But right now, like you get Owen reaching for her gun, you get Mel going for her neck to stab her, and I think it's the most common reaction. It's just okay, I need to. They're trying to kill me, so I need to act. And at that moment, I can't blame Ellie for killing them. I can blame her for being reckless at, given that she wanted information out of them, and so yeah, I can blame her for that. But even so, they were like they were trying to kill her, and so she had to defend herself. Not that it's right to kill a pregnant woman or anyone in this case, but I can't really criticize her for that. I think this was a signal that she should have stopped already with this vengeance path. That is in fact true. I do think that, but this moment itself, I don't think she, given the conditions, I don't think she could have done it differently. I can blame her for that.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
Um, but my problem is that she handled all the situations so poorly that she
You're talking about
ends.
the interrogation thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can, yeah, I agree with that.
That it's the only way it would end was with both of them dead or Ellie dead. So I thought at the moment she enters that room, and you were saying that we don't know where Abby is, but they talk about Abby left for that island. We
Yeah,
don't know if
exactly.
she will be back. We need to leave. I think they were discussing if they should leave or if they should wait for Abby to return.
Yeah, because they wanted to go to Santa Barbara,
Yeah,
or at least Owen did. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And well, yeah, I think that what Ellie, I can understand that what Ellie does is it at the heat of the moment, but
Hmm.
well, I don't think she handled all the situation correctly, and you can see that she even turns down on Jesse a moment earlier when we know the probable location of Tommy. Let's go find Tommy. No, she prioritized
Yeah,
always the revenge instead of her
yeah,
friends or family
yeah.
or whatever. And even though for me Tommy it's the bad guy of this game,
Tommy is the
because
bad guy.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because of what he does in the end. Uh, I think, uh, and she becomes a reflection of Tommy in the end, in my opinion. But we will go
Hmm.
to that a little bit later. Yeah, but I think that in this moment, and after this, you start playing with Abby day one. Um, I think that what Ellie did was worse than what Abby did because Abby killed her dad or her uh, Abby kills Joel.
Hmm.
Joel killed Abby father, so they are neck to
Hmm.
neck on that moment.
Hmm.
But then Ellie killed all Abby's friends. All.
Hmm.
Not even a single one survives. Not even her dog survived.
Yeah.
So in the end, at that moment, Ellie makes everything worse, in my opinion, by killing everyone there to to revenge Joel. But by doing that, she is doing worse than what happened to Joel.
I Yes, that's true. That's true. I agree with that. But I don't. I think Abby would do the same if she didn't encounter Joel right away. Abby just got lucky, but she would kill anyone in her path until she had Joel. I'm most that I'm most certain.
The game
Uh,
hints to that, but we are not sure. And
I mean, yeah, okay, this is my belief.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm saying that because there's a moment on day 3 of Abby
Hmm.
that she would be able to do the same that Ellie did to her, and she doesn't. So
Yeah.
that's why I think Abby grows way beyond Ellie and becomes way a better person than Ellie is
But that
because she can put on her back that Ellie killed her friends.
yeah.
And
But
for me,
hmm
Abby loved Owen,
hmm
even though
yeah. Hmm.
she is always trying to push him back.
Yes.
I think Abby loved Owen. She didn't know how to be with him,
Hmm.
but I think she loved him. And I bet you that if it was reversed and Abby had killed Dina, Ellie wouldn't have the same reaction.
Uh, Firstly, let me just say that Abby didn't kill Dina because uh, she met Lev and Yara, and actually, it was Lev that stopped her from killing Dina.
He didn't stop. He
No,
suggested.
y- yes, that's true. But and Abby agreed because because of her of what she learned by being with him in Yara, because on but we should get to that later because we still have 3 days of Abby
Yeah.
to discuss.
So let's go. We are almost 1 hour and something already. So
Yeah.
let's see day 1, day 2, day 3 of Abby a little bit faster. Just the highlights to.
Uh-huh.
So what was your reaction when we end? So before we go into day 3 of day 1 of
Mm-hmm.
Abby, something
Abby.
happens also on day 3. So they reach the theater after they killed Owen and
Owen.
Mel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they are there, and then they hear some gunshots or they hear something.
Yeah.
Then it was Jesse and Ellie joins Tommy on the theater. Abby shots Jesse, right?
Mm-hmm. In the head.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the head. He's dead. Um, and it cuts there. It stops there.
Yeah,
And
basically.
then we
She
yeah.
just
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay.
No, I was just saying, just adding that she just says how she let them all live after killing Joel, and that they wasted it,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it
It
stops.
ends, and we
Yeah,
start with a flashback. So with little Abby
yeah,
before playing day 1 of Abby. So what do
yeah.
you thought about that flashback? So
At
did
the
you at the moment did you knew that the revenge was because
uh,
Abby's father was the doctor that Joel killed and the doctor responsible to do the operation on Ellie?
Not at the moment. No, I only assumed. I mean that they were related to the Frostwise and to that incident from Joel, but I was not aware of him being of her father being the actual surgeon until I read some notes just saying that hinting that he did some surgeries in the past and the blah blah blah, and so I started picturing it out. Um, but also at the moment I was a bit frustrated with the whole situation because I did not care for Abby at the moment. I was against her. I was not the team Abby, let's say. So I didn't. I was a bit against playing as her at the time. Having said that, obviously I advanced, and seeing that moment with her father, um, helping the zebra in the zoo, and just having that moment of uh, of joy, as Ellie did with Joel in the past. Um, it made me start caring, or at least appreciating these that moment. And so after that, we go back to we skip to the hospital, and see Abby's father arguing with Marlene, which I was very happy to see her back. Uh, I think it was a nice touch to see her in her final hours, and we see them discussing Ellie's surgery and basically the whole moral dilemma of it, because that's she was a little girl, and we were forcing her to that they were forcing her to die for this vaccine, and it wasn't right. But at that moment, when Marlene asks Abby's dad, uh, if it was Abby in that surgery table, if he would do the same, he hesitates, and but at that moment, Abby storms in. Uh, Marlene leaves, and Abby says that she would gladly give her life. Now, I think her father would give up his daughter. At least that's what his face uh,
Yeah.
made it. His face made it clear. Like, I think he hesitated because it seemed wrong to give up your own daughter, but I think that he would do it. He would be that selfless, and so would Abby, to give up her own life for this. Um, and then we see Abby grieving her father at the moment. We see her storming out the hallway, and seeing her father's dead body lying there, and that's basically the moment when uh, she starts plotting her revenge against Joel. Now, um, what did you think about that at the time, Rafael?
Yeah, I think that I wasn't expecting that scene. The first time I
Uh huh.
saw her father, I didn't recall the doctor's face. I talked with a friend of mine that said that he played recently The Last of Us 1, and definitely that was her father on The Last of Us 1. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was the same face. So he recognized right away. But at the moment, I didn't recognize right away because I wasn't able to remember that that was the surgeon that we killed with Joel. So
Mm-hmm.
I was playing the story, I was enjoying, and since the beginning, I wasn't against playing with Ellie. I think
Okay.
uh, there's a moment where you play with Ellie in the beginning, like we talked, and I think it was more fun in terms of gameplay because it was more actiony than you had with Ellie. So when I started playing with Abby, I thought, cool, let's see this part of the story. I want to see this part of the story. Okay. I think that in terms of pacing, it would be better to have like day one Ellie, day one Abby, day two Ellie, day two Abby, and so on,
Mm-hmm.
because then you would be neck and neck what's happening on both sides. And I know there's a lot of players complaints that they don't want to play with Abby. Abby
That is true.
is
Yeah.
so bad and so on. And instead of having like 10 to 15 hours playing with Abby straight, you could be playing with Abby and Ellie and doing, uh, and it will be more fresh in your mind what is happening. Because imagine that it's a long game. It's I think 30 hours or something to beat it if you um, walk through most of the things, and if you are cautious, if you like to explore and so on. So
Mm-hmm.
I think if you would play day one, day two, day three, you would pick up more the hints that happen on each day, and you could more relate. Excuse me. You could relate more with that what's happening in both sides of the story.
I can agree with that, but I think it would like basically the first half of the game is basically Ellie's journey, and then the second half would be Abby's journey. And I think if we would split them by days, like Ellie day one, Abby day one, we would just be like interrupting each of their journey, and
Mhm.
wouldn't be as invested individually on each journey as we are as we would as we are in the with the current game as it is.
Yeah.
Uh, at least those are my thoughts on it. Like keeping switching, keep the switching between them. I don't think it would be as effective. I think it would be more effective to understand the story on an overall aspect. Um, but we wouldn't feel it as much when playing as Abby as Ellie or playing as Abby. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah.
But that's in a, I think it's cool. I think it's a
Hmm.
cool way for you to find about Abby's father,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, and to know a little bit more about Owen. And Abby's father, from that scene, looks like a good person. So I
Hmm.
think that's the
Yeah.
idea behind the zebra. The zebra thing is that he's worried about the zebra itself, even though they say that could have walker. It's not walkers. It could have clickers there, or it's
Yeah.
outside of their um, of their way. So they need to be careful. But he is not worried about that. He just wants to save the zebra. So I
Yeah.
think that it's a cool moment to know a little bit more about Abby's dad, and to make him like a lovable person or a good person. Then
Hmm.
where you have the flashbacks where you see your dad dead in the ground, and Owen, it's the one that push you to the side and so on. So I
Yeah.
think it was also impactful scene.
Hmm.
Um, but apart from that, I think that the game doesn't give you much context, and at that moment doesn't give you much Abby. So you're not aware of. You don't have much connection with Abby.
Yeah.
You start getting that connection further in the game, I think.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I definitely appreciated that scene more on my second playthrough because I was
Yeah.
already connected with Abby. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely true. Yeah,
And after those scenes, we start day one Abby, right?
yeah, exactly. In which she wakes up at the Wolves um, stadium in which they
Yeah.
live, and you get to see them. You get to see how they live. They have like this huge gym. They have classes with full of kids. Then the canteen, and everyone freaked out when they saw that Abby was eating a burrito, and that she was actually eating.
Yeah.
Like people on the internet freaked out about that, how it was actually well done.
Yeah.
Um, and
It
yeah,
was
you
it was really nice to compare and contrast with Jacksonville,
yeah yeah.
because
It's Jackson, by the way.
sorry, Jackson.
Yeah, yeah,
It's cool to see the difference of the society and how we live on these dire days, and in the end you have another cult-like society, like into the final 2 hours, that are totally different. So it's good to see
yeah,
the
yeah,
terrified, the wolves, that bikers. They look like bikers. I don't know
yeah.
why.
They
I
do, but
remember.
though they don't ride any bikes, but
Yeah, they have
yeah,
that biker feeling. I don't know why.
yeah. No, but that's true. I agree. At least those first two, the Ellie encounters,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
So you have that, and then you have Jackson. So how they live on those three places, it's cool to see the difference. Even
Yeah.
though I think Jackson and the stadium are the most normal ones and the most similar ones. Okay, even though there
Hmm.
is a difference in how they do it. Okay, because clearly in Jackson you have a more democratic, let's say, way of living, and in the Wolves, Isaac Isaac, I think that's his
Yeah,
name. It's clearly the
yeah.
boss, and he's the one that leads all the dead people. And I don't think I have that feeling on Jackson. I think they are all equal, or more or less. There is like a group of people that are
Hmm.
all equal. But I really liked how they set up the Wolves territory and how they run stuff there.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So, what do you
Yeah.
about day one of Abby? Which are the highlights that you want to? I don't
Um,
think much happens on day one of Abby.
no, not much. It's basically you see. It's basically you getting to know how the wolves operate, what they do on a daily basis. Like they went on a mission, and to I don't remember to do what to do, what they did, but or going to do because then they were attacked by some Seraphites,
Yeah,
and then they went to meet Isaac. It's where we first saw him. And at the end of that first day, I mean, we had a couple of interactions with Mel
yeah.
and
Owen.
Memi, I believe his name was.
Yeah.
No, Owen. Owen, I think he was.
He
He
was
wasn't
not
there
there. Yeah,
at the
he
time.
was with
Yeah.
Danny, I think, or something like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you know a
And
little bit more about Owen's relationship with Mel. That's I think,
yeah, that's true.
and
Because I
I want just to highlight that for
yeah
a pregnant lady with 5 months pregnant, she's able to do some crazy stuff.
she didn't do that much, to be honest.
She did.
What did
Oh
she do?
man, she was jumping things and climbing other.
She wasn't.
There's like
She
their storage part where they fight clickers. The three of them were there.
yeah, but she was like shooting. She wasn't like
Man, she's 5 months pregnant. I
I'm not
thought it
saying I'm
was
not
really
telling otherwise.
crazy. Yeah, I was. They fight Seraphites and so on. I thought, who the hell let a
No,
five
but yeah,
month? Yeah,
I agree. No, I agree. It was stupid on her part and on the Wolves' part in general to let her go, especially like she. They even mentioned it in the conversation, and she was the one. Mel was the one who wanted to go.
yeah.
Uh, so that's I don't know. It's a bit strange. But I mean, she wants to be a strong, independent woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
And I praised that.
other,
I just thought it was
no,
really,
yeah.
really off-putting to have them doing. They have so many people there that I thought it's
Exactly.
quite
It's not.
strange to
It
put
wasn't
it.
necessary.
Yeah, you in that place. So,
Yeah, but oh well.
and
Um,
that's
well,
that's the one. I think it was more or less
yeah.
you know a little
After
bit
that,
of Mel
yeah,
and the other guys. But go ahead.
yeah. No, I was going to say after that, and then after that we have the Abby's flashback with Owen, which was 3 years earlier, I believe. It was basically when they were still dating, and then they were at the aquarium exploring that, and that's
No,
basically
it's
equivalent.
when they found the aquarium. They were on
Yeah.
the hill, I think.
Yeah.
How it's called? I don't remember. They were talking
That
there.
wheel.
Yeah, the wheel. They were talking there, and then Owen says, "Let's stay a few more minutes. Let's jump from here." He jumps. He doesn't appear. Abby jumps to go back to him,
Yeah.
and then they found the aquarium and they explore the aquarium, and then Owen says the aquarium is his, and she wants always to go back to trying
Yeah,
to get the vengeance of Joel, and Owen wants to keep her there just for 5 more minutes. Let's just hang out and so on.
yeah,
And
exactly.
she's so focused on the training part and the vengeance part. Um, that's a moment I think Abby relates to Ellie's presence.
Hmm.
It's cool to
Hmm.
see that they were two really focused persons with a specific goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's one thing I didn't realize it at first, that she, as you said, she just always was focused on getting to training and so on, and that's a constant thing that they do with the flash with her flashbacks over these years, and it kind of makes me accept, because I didn't at first, or found it way off putting, the fact that she has so many muscles.
Yeah,
Like it was a bit strange at the beginning, but then once I started realizing that, okay, that she had spent actual years training for that, for avenging her father, and seeing that kind of resolve actually makes sense for her actual character physique. So I appreciate that
yeah.
attention to detail, definitely. Um, and just another side note, I also really liked her, that aquarium scene, with them seeing the seal with the spots and so on, was also a very very nice moment, a character moment for her. It was basically when I started actually appreciating her, and wanting to know more about her in playing as Abby. So
Uh, it
definitely a plus.
yeah, it humanizes her as a
Definitely, yeah,
person.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
And then I think it's when she finds out that Owen is missing, that Danny
Hmm.
is dead. So
Hmm.
she knows that he is on the aquarium,
Hmm.
and then it's when you start day two. She is going after um, after Owen just to
Hmm.
find out what happened.
Yeah. Now, in day two, it was also my favorite part of playing as Abby, because um, basically at the beginning you basically, I think you actually fight Seraphites, all the way through to the end of
Yeah,
day two, and I think it was so interesting. Like, I mean, in the beginning it was like normal fights as you did with Ellie before, but then you get captured by them, and you have that whole cutscene of Abby being hanged, um, by the Seraphites, and then and that's the point where you meet Yara and Love, and seeing Yara's arm gets crushed by one with a hammer. It was such an intense scene. Um, the way that was done, it was honestly brilliant, brilliant. I can't praise it enough. Um, and from that point on till the end, it was just I was always just um, how do I say it? I was like constantly engaged in the moment. The way the lightning, so dark, but you can see just enough to actually fight the infected and so on. It was one of the more gameplay related, was one of my favorite scenes of the entire game.
yeah.
Um,
Did you know that that scene? It's the second trailer that they showed
yeah,
for The
yeah,
Last
yeah,
of
yeah,
Us 2.
yeah, yeah. In which nobody knew who
Yeah,
Abby was. Yeah, so it was very nice. Yeah. Um, and that's the moment when also Abby tries to actually protect those kids from being killed, um, and I think that's the point where Abby's redemption arc starts, because before, they were always talking about Seraphites just being plain crazy, and they just basically they don't need to live. They would be better off without any Seraphites alive. That's basically Abby's thoughts. But then these people that they just want to kill are also the people that save Abby from being killed. And it kind of makes of a parallel of what happened between her and Joel, I think, because Joel was the one saved, was also who saved Abby at the time when she was close to Jackson. um, but she ignored that and she killed him. Whereas now, I think this kind of into some guilt that she has for what she did to Joel, because then she just keeps having nightmares and keeps having the need to save the kids, to protect these kids that saved her, to protect to protect the people who she thought that would be that needed to die, that these people who now saved her, and so she should protect them, she shouldn't kill them, as she like she did with Joel. I think that's when her redemption starts, and
I think
and she actually grows.
I
Yeah.
think it's after, because she saved them and then she
Hmm.
leaves them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then she goes back to the aquarium
Hmm.
and finds their Mel and Owen, right? Or finds
It's
Owen.
just Owen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they have sex,
Hmm.
and then Mel appears on the next day, right?
Not yes, but not right away. She like Abby was woke up early with nightmares,
Mm-hmm.
and right away it just starts with her going back to those kids
It is
to save them. Yeah, yeah. She goes back to the kids,
okay.
and then once she finds that Yara's arm is not getting better, it's much worse actually. Then they go back to the aquarium and find Mel there.
Okay,
Yeah,
because I think the moment that changed also it's when Mel talks with her saying that she's not a good person.
that's also true. Yeah, I can see that having an effect in her as well. Yeah,
Yeah, because she
I
starts
don't recall that.
she starts
What
crying.
she said.
She starts crying, and then
Uh,
Yara said that
Abby or
she
Mel?
was. Uh, Abby starts.
Uh-huh.
Mel says to her, "You are not coming with us. You are not a good person. I don't want you with us. You only bring problem to us." And then she turned. Mel goes off. Abby um, turns to the back. I think she starts crying, and then Yara appears, saying that. Uh, well, I think I'm jumping far to the future
Yeah, I
because
think I think
yeah,
that's on the third day already.
yeah, because they're yeah, you're right, because they go back. Yara has really bad arm,
Yeah,
and Abby has to find the things for them to do the surgery, and
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
where you go with Lev to the hospital, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. So basically, you go with Lev, and from then on, you start learning about how the Seraphites actually think, how they talk. They don't know that many many expressions that the wolves use. Um, and get to know more about the prophet and what she stood for, and how so many other Seraphites twisted her words, which is like a lot like I think it's like a parallel to how many religions are maybe perceived, like not to get political or anything, but like if we take the Muslim religion, many people associate it with violence because of the terrorist acts, but when it actually has a peaceful message behind it. So it's basically these minorities which twist the words of the religion, um, and then you have the correct view of what the religion actually stood for. It's kind of the same thing here. um, which is very interesting to know about in this world. Um, and then you keep heading to the hospital, and you find some Seraphites that call out for Lily when they see Lev. In that point on is when you find out, or presumably you think, that Lev is a transgender boy, which I've also heard about that in the leaks, that they would include a transgender character, and I was a bit concerned of how they would do it, because I don't know. I was a bit afraid if they were going to put too much emphasis on it, which a couple of my friends who saw the leaks made it clear that they were going to. But I was very quite relieved of how they approached this subject. Like they I think they talked about it in a non-invasive way.
Yeah, I think
They made it.
it
Go ahead.
felt like a part of the story and not the main part. I think they did it the right way, like they did on the first
Yeah,
game with uh, how Ellie is lesbian. It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
in your face. It's something
Exactly.
that you find out, but it's not like
It's not the
it,
subject.
yeah, it's not a subject, and they are not talking about that all the time. So
Exactly. 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 It's so yeah, it's I was very happy on how they approached this, on how they were able to make a scare to a transgender character, which I never saw it done before, I think. um, so so high props for them.
yeah,
um, and then we find out about that, and then, oh, a moment that I really loved was having Abby uh,
afraid
go
of
through
heights.
that whole crane. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was such a cool moment. I myself was like on edge, feeling for her. It was a very well done thing. Um, and then you go down. Well, once you go down that part, you go down through that hotel filled with zombies, and uh, and I think after that you reach the hospital. I think, right?
yeah.
So you reach the
You
hospital.
fall. No, you fall before reaching the hospital. They fall
To
like in the
where?
pool, and then you have to go down a building.
No, yeah, that's what I said. That that's the hotel. I think that's
Yeah,
when we went down. So we went down the hotel, which was filled with clickers and bloaters,
yeah,
or chambers just. But yeah, um, then yeah, we get to the hospital, and then since Lev is Seraphite, he's who waits for her outside, and Abby goes inside, and then she finds Nora, and Nora says that the supplies Abby wants is only on the lower floors, which were the commonly
yeah.
known as the ground
First,
zero.
first,
What?
first, she said that she had things from Isaac supplies.
Oh yeah,
Then
yeah, that's
they
important. Yeah.
then they go and discover that's a lie.
Hmm.
She's locked on the elevator, or I don't recall the place. She's locked somewhere, and then Nora appears and said
Yeah,
that
that's true.
what you have done. She explains, and then she tells that the things that she needs, it's in the ground floor.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I think you heard something about an attack or something like that, because it's
Which
when
was Ellie.
Ellie, yeah,
Yeah,
it was Ellie going to the hospital.
yeah, but she didn't tell Nora about Lev, right? That about
I
the
don't think so. She
Me
just said
neither. Yeah,
she just said that she really needed to save someone. I think.
yeah. I think she talked about Owen instead
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Lev.
yeah,
I think that was it. But yeah, and then she goes downstairs, and you see that whole division of the hospital, like uh, filled with just it didn't have that much infected per se, but it just was like the whole walls were
yeah.
filled with the fungus and such. It was very creepy in the best way possible. Very well done area. And then you'll find the the now known as Red King
Yeah.
boss, which honestly I wasn't as scared as I thought I would be fighting him. I was more shocked by his appearance at the beginning than during the fight. You know, I don't think during the
Yeah.
fight I was actually quite calm.
But you have hints of him before. I think before he appears,
No,
there
yeah,
is like a big crate that
yeah,
you don't know if you have to go inside or not, or
yeah.
so
No, that's true.
there's
That's true.
hints about him inside.
But but exactly, but those hints were more creepy than seeing him, than actual fighting him.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. Yeah. Um, but it was a cool fight nonetheless. Um, and then once you defeat him, I think you go back and eventually you eventually found Lev. I don't know if you still got to be pursued or found Lev right away. You know?
no, you. I think you get out of the hospital
Yeah.
on by the garage, I think, and then
Hmm.
Lev is outside, I think,
Okay.
waiting for you, or you have a zone where you have some guys there. You pass that zone and you go out, and Lev is there to help you, or something like that,
Yeah. 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 Okay.
and then you go back
Fun.
to the aquarium.
Yeah. Fun fact: they do mention that when Ellie arrives to the hospital, she does hear them mentioning that they were searching for Abby, which is why she knew that Abby was there and she needed to talk with Nora. So
Yeah,
it was a nice touch.
yeah. The only thing
Um.
I didn't like about this day,
Hmm.
I thought they tried to incorporate some jump scares in the hotel parts, because those guys were on the wall and then they appeared out of nowhere.
That always work with me.
Yeah,
I kept getting scared all the time.
yeah. So that shows the horror part that was talking in the beginning of when we just
Uh-huh.
started talking. I think
Yeah.
they tried to push for the horror side and you being on the edge feeling since
Hmm.
the beginning. And then I'm not that keen on boss fights. I don't think games, specific story, big storytelling games need boss fights. So
Hmm.
I understand why they've put it, but I would prefer not to have it,
Okay.
because I don't think it makes really sense in terms of story. I understand that it's the right place to be,
Hmm.
but Naughty Dog normally does that, and because they feel that they should have a boss fight, but I don't think games, single player games that are story focused, need to have mandatory boss fights at the end or almost at the end of the game. So
Hmm.
I don't
I
see as a cool moment. I
okay.
think it would be better if there was some other of the some other clickers or other that you have already fights, and it was like more overcrowded place than the boss fight itself.
I understand, and I agree with you when you said not every game needs a boss fight. I definitely agree on that, and I also agree that they've done Naughty Dog has done some boss fights in the past that were that felt like they felt like having a boss fight and not like that made sense basically. But I don't think it was like I think in this case, and also in the first Last of Us, the boss fights that they did, I think they were that they made sense within the story. I think that I think it was also a cool way to have a different moment, a different way of facing an infected, um, and just I think it added a bit more to the experience overall. I agree that it shouldn't exist just for the sake of existing. But it felt, for me, it felt right, to be honest.
Cool. Then I think we end day 2 with the surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
And after the surgery, Yara is not able to fight anymore because they have to cut her forearm. Then you have that talk about Mel that I was saying previously.
Yeah,
You have Mel saying that they will leave for Santa Barbara. They shouldn't. She shouldn't come with them. She should not be with those two, with Lev and Yara, because if she's with them, something wrong will happen to them. She's only bringing destruction and bad stuff. Then she starts crying without Mel noticing, and Yara on, appears and says that that's not true. And then they go after Lev because Lev um, wanted to confront their mother or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Um, and that's the scene where you go through the aquarium, you find something to give to Lev. There is, I think it's a shark, um, and you play with the dog,
Hmm.
and then she finds Lev. They have a talk like 5 minutes, and then Lev picks up a boat and goes to the Seraphite Island.
Yeah,
And then it starts, I think, day 3 of Abby, and Abby and Yara are going to find Lev.
yeah.
So it starts day 3. There's a quick scene, I think, where you. Let me just go back a little bit. I think we
Yeah,
missed a.
go ahead, go ahead.
I think we missed a important part on day. It's on day 3, on the beginning of day 3. Yeah,
Okay.
is where you are trying to find the boat, but you find Tommy, I think.
Oh, okay, but yes, yes, that's before they go to the island. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
you find the sniper.
Exactly, exactly. I was not expecting that it would be Tommy.
Yeah,
I don't know why it never crossed my mind.
you find a
But it,
yeah, you're trying to get to the boat, I think, and you find the sniper,
yeah,
and you find the guy
Manny was
that
there.
Manny. Yeah, that's the guy, and he Manny shot in the face by Tommy.
Manny got shot.
Yeah, got shot in the face by
Yeah, okay,
Tommy.
okay, yeah, yeah,
There's a cool scene when you go car by car because Tommy is a really good sniper. So
yeah,
they reach the place where Tommy is. They think they have Tommy locked, and then they think Tommy is going to appear from one place, but then it appears right on front of Manny. He shots Manny in the face. Then there is a confrontation between Abby and Tommy got shot and disappear in the sea.
yeah.
And you
I
can
think that
relate with the day 3 where Tommy appears with the wound
exactly.
near the aquarium.
He's uh, Tommy appears with a wound near the. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. When he finds Ellie.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly.
he
Um,
has a wound on that moment, I think.
yeah. At the time, I think I only noticed it in the theater already when he was like it's not like he was like reaching for the bag like he was hurting somewhere. So yeah, I noticed then, but I didn't notice in the theater in the aquarium.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a really very cool sequence to have, and then the whole reveal of being Tommy was a really liked it, very
yeah.
effective.
And then Abby finds a boat, she and Yara go to the island.
Mm-hmm.
They reach the island, and you know a little bit more about the Seraphites, how many of them there is where Abby says that they're going to be attacked today
Yeah.
by Isaac, and you know there is, and you know how they are organized, who are the fighters, who are the the ones that help with the kids and so on. So you know a little bit about them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's some like two or three fighting scenes where you need to go until you reach Lev. When you reach Lev,
Yeah.
you find that Lev has killed um, his mom
Yeah.
because she didn't hear him try to kill him, and he killed her.
Yeah. Basically.
And at that moment, I think that you find also that the wolves are already in the island, so you need to escape. Uh, and there is where you, I think, have one of the cooler scenes also in the game. It's where the island is all on fire and you're trying to reach the boats, and there's some cool scenes there. I think you go
Yeah.
by horse, if I'm not
We
mistaken.
we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves because before that, while fleeing, before getting on a horse, while fleeing, we got a scene. Oh, Isaac found us.
Yeah, that's right.
Isaac found us, and they shot. And I think at the time they immediately shot Yara, and she was on the ground, and they were gunning for. And the Abby was protecting Lev,
Yeah,
and so Isaac got up on the front, and just challenging Abby, asking her to step aside, and she denied it. And at that point, Isaac was going to shoot Abby, and Yara, out of nowhere, shots him. And I'm not sure, I can't really recall if she kills him or not,
yeah,
but
she kills him. Yeah,
she kills him. Okay,
yeah,
okay. And so, and then immediately after, everyone shoots Abby. You just see her body fumbling with all the bullets. Um and Abby is able to escape with love. Then
yeah,
on horseback, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Then they are running to the fire and so on. So it's a really
yeah,
cool scene
yeah. Very cool
there.
scene indeed. Yeah.
And then Lev
Abby,
and Abby are able to pick up a boat and
yeah.
sail sail back to the aquarium.
Which also, by the way, before them picking up the boat, you had that boss fight with that brute, with that Seraphite,
Yeah, yeah,
in which you sliced his jaw open, and I don't know, it was just a cool moment to see, just a very brutal fight to have.
yeah.
Very cool scene indeed.
There's also in that moment you also see the part that he says to Lev that she's a girl and what
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
doing and so on. And then he
yeah.
says, "No, I'm a boy now." And there's a touch on that part also. So I
Mm-hmm,
thought
mm-hmm.
it was cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and then like I was saying, you reach the aquarium. I think you find first the dog Ted,
yeah,
and then you find um, Owen and Mel also Ted.
yeah,
Um, and then it jumps to you find Ellie's map because she left the map. You find out where they are, and then it jumps to the door at the theater.
mm-hmm,
You climb to the theater. You reach to the point where you were in the end of day 3 of Ellie, and you play as Abby. So there, there is where the fighting scene happens between Abby and Ellie.
mm-hmm.
So it's a really high violence scene, in my opinion. They go through each other punching, biting, all of that.
Yeah.
Um, I think Abby has her nose broken, her arm broken. Um,
You
then
seen Abby or Ellie?
Ellie, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Then Abby just kick kick Ellie in the face. She's just knocked down basically, and
yeah, yeah.
then Dina tries to save Ellie. Got shot, I think, with the left with the arrow from
An
left.
arrow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then Abby was going to kill her. Ellie says she's pregnant. Please don't. Um, there's where Lev says, please, you don't need to kill them. She doesn't kill them and says that the next time, just say that leave. If I see you once again, I will kill you. Um, and that's the moment I think that for me,
Mm-hmm.
I I, I start liking a lot Abby because
Mm-hmm.
that moment showed me she just saw like 1 hour ago Owen dead. Mel she didn't care, but Owen
Yeah.
dead, her dog dead, um, and she was able to just put that on her back and leave with love. At that moment, we know that they want to go to St. Barbara to find the fireflies. But what do you thought about that scene, Yuki?
I It was a very powerful scene. I was very first of all, like, in the fight, I didn't want to play at all during that time because I didn't want to fight Ellie. So I was feeling very conflicted with myself at the time. Um, but later on, while this the whole thing is happening, um, and Dina also gets knocked out. I think that's the point where we see Abby's growth from all of this. That she's able, as you said, she's able to put off her revenge feelings aside and just and move on with her life, regardless of what Ellie did to all of her friends. Um, so so yeah, that's what when we see Abby's growth. Um, and then yeah, but don't have much other things to say about it. And then I think then we skip to around 1 year, right?
Yeah,
I would say, with Ellie on a farmhouse, which I myself I really enjoy that part. Like after such chaos, uh, constantly being around, it felt very nice to have such a peaceful, quiet scene like that. Just enjoying Ellie's life with Dina and JJ, um, being in a farm with sheep and such. There's this really cool moment where you go to find JJ's toy with him in the tractor, and then you just stand and you just sit and look at the sunset, and just feels nice. It's a really nice, quiet moment, but very, very appreciated.
there's also a cool
And
scene where they are dancing
in
while
the
they are
kitchen.
cooking. Yeah, in the kitchen.
Yeah. It's very nice as well. Just felt really, really human. Yeah. Um, and then yeah, after Ellie gets the sheep into the barn, you see that she is having nightmares about Joel and just having panic attacks all over. Um, which well, it caught me a bit off by surprise. Which, by the way, I didn't get to mention this because this whole transition to the farm thing, I initially was thinking that it was all just a dream, because I don't know, the transition was so rough, and they didn't give like a 1 year later or something for me to know how much time had passed. So maybe I thought, is Ellie like dreaming what life would be like if she had put off vengeance aside and just live her life within and such? Just imagining that. And once that she started having nightmares, I just thought, okay, yeah, it's all a dream. It's all a dream. Um, but then it wasn't.
It
She woke
wasn't
up
that.
still in the farm. Yeah, still in the farm. With Dina there helping her and grabbing JJ and just giving her support, which is all she has been doing for Ellie. And it's so nice to see from her side these so nice gestures. Um, and then on the next day, you get a visit from you see Ellie comes back from hunting, and she gets a visit. She sees a horse there outside the house, and once she gets in, you find Tommy, which by the way I had presumed he was dead,
Yeah, me too.
and so I was so
Surprised.
uh, yeah, surprised and very moved. I got a bit teary eyed seeing him like so missing an eye and um, so injured. Um, it got me very emotional seeing him like that, but was very happy. But then it well he came around with a kind of a vengeance wish, just like Ellie a while back, and I
And
think he got. Mhm.
that's why I hate Tommy. I hate what he has done on that moment. So
Because it yeah, no, go ahead, sorry.
he for me it's the trigger, or he's for me the reason why Ellie decides to go back and tries to find Abby, because
I
he gives him a hint where she is. If
uh,
he has not done that, if he didn't show up, I think that Ellie would be there on the farm.
I agree that I agree that he was the trigger, but I don't agree that he was the reason, because we can see that Ellie has not been in peace after their last confrontation. Ellie has been having nightmares. It was we could see from it was from Dina's reaction that it wasn't the first time that Ellie had that whole panic attack. So Ellie was already struggling with that probably for a long time after um, Abby's fight, and seeing and once Tommy reached them and gave them the hint of Abby's location, Ellie just saw finally a solution for all of that, to finally find peace, because she never had that moment of killing Abby. She had the fight, but she lost it, and she never had that moment like she did at the end of the game, where she was actually going to kill Abby. That it was up to her. It was literally in her hands the decision of letting Abby live or die, and so she never got closure on that. I think. Uh, I think, in my opinion, I think that the scene. Some people would say that yeah, the game should have ended right after Abby's fight. Maybe just seeing um, Abby with Lev going to Santa Barbara and Ellie with Dina living happily. It would feel good, but it wouldn't feel. I wouldn't feel closure from from this whole struggle. Let's say.
But my feelings were at that
Hmm.
moment when Ellie decides to go back to find Abby. My
Hmm.
feelings were, I hope Abby kills you,
Okay.
and I hoped Naughty Dog had the balls to do that, to show my opinion is that with that you would show that revenge is not the way, and if you seek revenge until the end, you destroy yourself. They try to do that without her death, But
Hmm.
I thought it would be a really cool moment if she died because she didn't know when to stop.
But I think I agree that it would be. I mean, it would be definitely different because with this, with this ending, I think I think they decided that to give Ellie to let Ellie regain a little bit of her humanity back
Yeah,
at the end. That's what they like. It cost her everything. Everything she did, it cost her everything she had. Uh, but at the end, she got a little bit of her humanity back. She didn't lose everything, every part that made her. Um, and I think that's what they were going for with this ending. Um, well, I mean, I was going to say I was just going to proceed with the going forward with the story because I think we're getting a bit ahead of
yeah.
ourselves.
But
Uh,
just a thing
mhm,
on the I'm one of the guys that think that the game should end on the farm. I think it would be
mhm,
a good ending. Yes, it will be a happy ending because you'd have Abby happy with life, and you'd have Ellie happy with JJ and Dina.
mhm,
I know that she's struggling with post-traumatic, um, but I think Dina was there for her all the way through, so she would help her during those moments. Um, and the the way you could find closure, it's two ways. The way that Ellie did, that was
mhm,
pursuing her vengeance until a point that she understood what was important,
mhm,
or by facing what you are feeling with the person that you are with. And I think that Dina was really a good partner for Ellie all those years, and
mhm.
she did all she could. And when Ellie comes back, I was really hoping that Dina wasn't there, and it wasn't. But
Yeah,
I wasn't. I was really hoping that Dina wasn't there because I thought that Ellie didn't deserve Dina's love at that moment.
mhm, mhm.
She didn't. She
I
didn't deserve her family. She didn't deserve JJ. She didn't deserve any of them because she
because yeah,
didn't knew how to. She had a choice and she chose poorly, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree that she chose poorly, but I don't think uh she did it lightly. I we have to keep in mind that it hasn't been she hasn't been having these problems during a short time. It's been at least a year, and maybe she's trying, and the only way that she also tried to live with that was because she didn't have anything else to do besides that. Maybe I don't think Naughty Dog uh, gave us that information clearly, but I don't think they ever made it clear that she talked with Dina about her nightmares, or at least it hasn't been made clear. Um, but we know that it has been a year since that, and this decision that she made probably I believe that it wasn't made lightly. I believe that during that night before Dina found out, the way that Ellie was remembering her first kiss with Dina and such was because she was in fact struggling with this decision and this wish to to go after Abby. but it just felt stronger than her.
The way
I
she leaves the house and the final word she says to Dina.
It hurt.
Yeah,
It hurt. I felt so. I was totally. I'm totally on board with you. Like Ellie shouldn't have left Dina. I was hoping. I was hearing Dina, and I was like, yes, please, Ellie, listen to Dina. She's here for you. You shouldn't leave her. It's all you have. All you need. But again,
yeah,
it's not about being rational.
yeah. Well, just to wrap up, I think that the
Yeah.
last scene is Ellie decides to Ellie decides to go back to find Abby, but you play first Abby. Abby tries to reach the Fireflies. They talk on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I don't know if the Fireflies still exists or the guys that they talk. It's the same guys that assault them because they were right away, right on that house
Uh,
at that moment.
Do you know? Actually, I have the answer for that. The guys that they were not. She was in fact talking to the Fireflies, and that they
Okay.
were not related to the guys who attacked her. And she did made it with love. At the end, once you finish the game, the menu changes
Yeah.
into a boat and like a building,
Yeah.
and that's the same building you saw somewhere like in pictures and stuff of where the Fireflies were in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
So they did made it in the end.
Yeah. But so Abby talks with the Fireflies when
Hmm.
they are coming out of the house. There's a really funny moment where the big guy punches Lev and he just does two jumps in the air before hitting the ground. It was so funny, man. It was just a really good
Yeah.
punch. Um, so they got Lev um, and Abby, and
Hmm.
then you don't know what happened to them. You start playing
Yeah.
with Ellie. I think what happened is that Ellie hits a trap.
Yeah.
She has a hole under her side stomach, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, she's losing a lot of blood. I think it passes like 1 or 2 days, and then the same guys found her. She kills them.
Yeah. Basically, she lures one of them into that clicker
Yeah,
or that was
yeah,
behind her.
yeah,
So it was a very cool scene, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
She
Very
kills
cool.
them. She kills them, um, and goes after Abby because she
Yeah.
knows that Abby's in her base. The guys
Yeah.
told her that, and then you have another scene of fighting until you reach the house. At the house, you see that they are using the clickers and the runners. I think it's the runners how they call.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, they are using them as experience and to protect their home. They're like a
Hmm.
crazy cult. They even crazier than the Seraphites. Um, and then you discover that Abby is at the beach, and you find a lot of corpses there with tied to some poles.
Yeah.
Um, Abby is really slim with short hair. Um, Ellie cuts Abby off. It cuts Lev off. They reach the boat. There's two boats, one for Lev and Abby, and one for Ellie. She seems to let Abby go, but then she decides that no, I want to have my revenge. She starts fighting Abby. Abby doesn't want to fight her. She starts with a knife, poking and
Mm-hmm.
cutting Abby until we reach a point that, yeah, Abby starts fighting. They fight each other. That seems takes a little bit of time. Now you play as Ellie. Um, reach a point that you are almost killing Abby. You're drowning her, and then you decide not to do it, or Ellie decides not to
Ellie.
do it.
Mm-hmm.
She, in the middle of the fight, Abby, I think it's two fingers or it bites
Yeah.
two fingers out of yeah of
Yeah.
um of Ellie's on the left hand, the one that you use to
Yeah.
play guitar,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where you do most of
The
your
chords.
notes, yeah, the
Yeah.
chords. Um, and you see uh, Abby and Lev leaving on the boat. Then you see Ellie on the beach. It seems that she finds the closure that you were talking about. She goes
Mm-hmm.
back to the farm. She reached the farm. The farm is empty. Jules' guitar is there, the one that he gave to her with a
Yeah.
fire with a
Butterfly.
firefly, a butterfly symbol there. She tries to play, but she's not able to because she's
Yeah.
lost two important fingers to play with. She leaves the guitar behind. I had a discussion this with a friend. He thinks that she leaving the guitar back, it's just her leaving her past behind. So, in his opinion, he thinks that it's Ellie putting all that happened behind her and moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's why
agree.
she left the guitar there.
Yeah.
So she leaves the guitar, and you see in the field she disappearing, and the game
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah. You missed an important part. The
Which one?
flashback. The last
Yeah,
flashback.
you have the last flashback. There is the flashback that I was saying in the beginning that I thought it should be near Jules' death. There is she talking with she and Dina kissing. There is a fight in the bar. Jules
Mm-hmm.
tries to say save her or tries to defend her. She says that she doesn't need him to defend. And then there's a conversation where she says that she doesn't know she will be able to forgive him because he lied to her and didn't told her that she was the cur and he killed all the fireflies. He basically didn't give her a choice
Mm-hmm.
of doing the right thing, so she doesn't know if she's able to forgive him.
But that she would try
Yeah,
or would like to try.
yeah, and
And that whole sentence just destroyed me right there at the cutscene.
yeah,
Because during that whole time, uh, we just thought that we kept thinking that Ellie was with the in bad terms with Joel during all that time in the game, until that final scene when she finally decided to try to forgive them, to show him
yeah,
forgiveness for the way he hurt her, and it just what felt relieving but sad all the time because she didn't said see you later and then they never spoke again.
yeah,
But it felt such it had so much impact, honestly, that I can't really overstate how much it did for me. I don't think in the beginning I think it would made at the time it would made the Joel's death during our first playthrough more painful because we had a little bit more scenes with him and Ellie at the beginning of the game. But the way they did this, it made me think of the game after, and just I I feel like I experienced stronger feelings after I experienced the game and actually thought about it. Honestly, there like very strong feelings afterwards
No.
which rarely happened after I finish a game. And that's why, like, how do I say this? Um, that's why I wouldn't change a thing about this game. I think the way they did it had such an effect on me that if they did it any different on us, it would lose it at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think
But yeah, yeah.
just to wrap up, I think that this
Hmm.
game has a has you feeling stuff, and that's
Yeah.
why I think you see a lot of hate in the internet because this game
Hmm.
makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you think about things,
Hmm.
makes you want to discuss with friends and what they think, what are those feelings, and it's a really an easy game that wants you to be on edge, that wants you to to think about it,
To feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
to feel it, and I think that they really accomplished that. There's a lot of stuff that I would prefer to be different, or we could be
Hmm.
here the whole day discussing
Yeah.
what we change or not change. In your case, like you said, you won't change anything. Um, but in the end, I think it's a really good game because you are able to feel stuff, and
Yeah.
you just don't. It's something that you leave the game having um, something with you, and I
Exactly.
think that will be a game that you won't forget as easy as you forget the other games that you play. So I
Definitely.
think
Definitely agree that.
yeah, I think there is not just the type of game that you went and you don't think about it. It's done.
Hmm.
It's on my done list. Let's pick up the next one.
Hmm.
I
Exactly.
think it's a game that is, in my opinion, really difficult to finish and start on the same day something new because it gives you that feeling of I need to think about this. I had
That
a
like
big
process
journey.
this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a big
Yeah.
journey with these characters.
Definitely.
I need to sit and see how I feel about it.
Definitely agree with you there.
Yeah,
Uh, do you think not playing the game has, or I mean, do you think if you play the game, you would share a different opinion?
yeah. I think that's a possibility for sure.
Hmm.
Uh, I think that maybe I would be more attached to Ellie if
Hmm.
I was playing. I was seeing like a movie, so it's a different way of interacting with the game. It was the first
Yeah.
time that I did it. Also, I've
Hmm.
never watched someone play a game from beginning to the end. Um, so it was a cool experience, and
Okay. Nice.
I think it was a good experience because it was so story driven. This game, so I can see it as a movie thing.
Hmm.
Um, but in the end, yeah, I can I can see me feeling differently if I was the main driver of the game.
Yeah. Did you
But
feel like
I never had like a big connection with Ellie, even on Last of Us One.
oh, really?
So I really like Joel. Joel
Yeah.
was my favorite.
Hmm.
Um, I understand the daughter father mechanic that they put it there,
Hmm.
but for me it was the bit to bit moments that you had, and it was the journey itself and not
Yeah.
the characters. I don't know if it makes sense, but I really enjoyed the journey and the growth of Joel and how he was
Hmm.
in the beginning and how he changed it. And
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
Ellie, you don't see that much on the first game. So Ellie,
Yeah.
from the beginning until the end of the game, is more or less the same person.
Yes,
You see her
I can see that.
getting attached to Jewel and so on.
Hmm.
I'm not
Hmm.
saying that she doesn't do that, but she has the same personality. And I think from Jewel, you have a different personality in the beginning of Last of Us One, and when you reach the end, he's more softer, more human-like, more back to the way he used to be.
Well, I think he got to the way he used to be with Ellie, but he still murdered like countless people to
Yeah,
save Ellie.
yeah,
So that's so Joel.
no.
But
But
yes, I see what
yeah,
you mean, and
but
yeah,
I
I
think
agree with that.
yeah,
Hmm.
and Abby, it's the one in my opinion that does that journey in Last of Us 2. That's why
Hmm.
I'm always saying that I'm Team Abby, because I relate Abby's journey with
Hmm.
journey from Last of Us 1. I
Yeah,
think they
yeah,
are
yeah,
relatable. That's why
yeah. Bas-
I enjoy both.
yeah, they're basically two redemption stories to tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, Joaquin, do you want to say something before we wrap up the episode? I think there is 2 hours already on the books.
2 hours.
So, yeah.
Okay. Um, I don't think I can say much more. Other like I'm very happy that they decided to go through with the sequel. At the time, I was even though hoping for a sequel, I was also afraid that they would mess it up. And though some people disagree with me, I think they did a really job um, uh, in telling this story, regardless of you of we agreeing or not with what Ellie did. It's definitely impactful in every way possible. So I'm very happy with what they did, and yeah.
Yeah. Just to finalize our spoiler cast, I have one last question for you. Do you think
Hmm.
they will do Last of Us 3? And if they do, what do you think it's the story about?
I think they can, but I wish they won't. I think um, they can do it in a couple of ways differently. They either they proceed with Abby, because I think the the time they spent in creating Abby, in writing her character is too good to not use it again in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they will get back to Abby, and also show us Ellie again and see her journey. Now I don't. Having said that, if they did this with Ellie, let's say the only way possible to be like a direct sequel to Ellie's story would be to have a redemption story for Ellie. But they've already done this at least 2 times with Abby and Joel. So I can't really say how much they would be repeating themselves, which is why I kind of wish they don't go for a sequel uh, in that scenario, because it's the only way that I can see them making it is a story is Ellie's redemption. Um, Having said that, I also wish they don't go to the sequel, because I think I've talked with you previously on this, because I would like to see Naughty Dog trying something new. Ever since the first Last of Us came out in 2013, that they have been doing only sequels. So this Last of Us and Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. And so I would really like to see them start something new. They had uh, it's for quite some years now they have talked about going into sci-fi, which is not a particular genre of game that I particularly like very much. Like I really like Mass Effect, but I think it's the only game in the series in that genre. So, but I would like to see them try. I would like to see them try to see what they can come up with. It would be very interesting to see.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think I've talked this with a friend. He has a
Hmm.
good theory that I will share here. It's not mine,
Yeah.
but he thinks that it will happen Last of Us 3,
Hmm.
and you will play with Abby. You will find the
Hmm.
fireflies. You will find someone that is able to create the cure. And the journey is Abby trying to find Ellie to get the cure to everyone.
But why to Ellie?
Because
Oh, sorry.
Ellie, it's
Okay,
the
sorry. If
cure.
no, I thought you're saying that you would find someone who is a cure. Okay, yeah, I get it. I get it.
No,
Okay,
Abby
yeah, I
finds the
can see that happening.
fireflies. Fireflies find
Yeah.
someone that's like Abby's father was able to create the cure, and then the
Hmm.
journey is you as Abby and Lev trying to find um, Ellie to convince her to go back to the fireflies and create the cure.
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how much of conflicts there can be in between, uh, assuming that both have gone past their the struggles with each with
Yeah,
between Abby and Ellie. I mean, but yes, that's definitely a plot I can see happening. Yeah.
yeah. But in Jackson, I don't know if they are aware that that has. I can see conflict
Uh,
because
okay, I see what you mean. Because no one
uh,
knows.
yeah,
Because no
and
one knows.
Tommy
That's
is
true.
there, so or Tommy could be back there and tries to create an army to
True.
go after Abby or something like that.
That's true. Yeah, we still have Tommy there.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Tommy hasn't been past the revenge
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
presumably.
yeah,
Though though if he had to go to Ellie to have his revenge, then that would probably mean that he wasn't able to get past to get an army to go after Abby.
yeah. But if the Abby shows on their door, maybe
No, yeah, yeah,
something
that's true. Yeah,
might change.
yeah, that I can see that happening.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. Um, Thank you for being with us. If you like it, please leave us a review on the podcast feeds, leave us a comment, subscribe us on our YouTube channel, and see you on our next podcast episodes. Bye.
Bye, everyone.